Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Hello everyone. Ramadan Kareem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our acts of ibadah and forgive our shortcomings. Today I'll be speaking on a very important topic, and I believe many of us are on this table. Yes, I'm talking about the issue of procrastination. Yes, many of us are on this table. Why am I saying that? Because many of us have this important task at hand, this work, this assignment that we need to get done, but we find it difficult to get that work done at the right time and meet the deadline on time. So, especially this period of Ramadan, we tend to find it difficult to get out of bed. We tend to lazy around, not because we don't have stuff to do, but because, we just don't feel like doing it, or because we keep delaying it, we keep slacking on it. So, I said many of us are on this table. Why? Because we are humans, and it's okay for you, once in a while, you tend to be not in the mood of getting things done. That's why I said most of us are on this table. So it's fine, but when it becomes unfine, when it becomes a problem, is when it becomes habitual. So you realize that even when it's not Ramadan, many of us have this assignment at hand, we have this work that needs to get done, but we keep postponing it, we keep giving reasons why we're yet to get that work done. We keep, in some cases, even blaming people why we couldn't do that. It's like maybe you having a work done and it doesn't involve only you. Maybe you need to have certain people that you need to tap into their, wealth of experience or knowledge or expertise. So you keep postponing that assignment that you need to get done on that. Oh, I've not heard from that person. Meanwhile, you're the one that you've not reached out to that person. So we keep to postpone so many things until a later time or a later date, and it affects our overall productivity. Not only that, on the issue of the delays, in this day and age, when you take a look at this technology of a thing, this social media, we keep glued to our social media handles, our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter, and these days, this TikTok of a thing that is now becoming the trend, we keep glued to our social media and refusing to get things done when they need to be done. And you know what? Funny enough, deep inside us, we know we need to get this done. Deep inside us, we keep telling ourselves that, hey, I need to sort this out. I need to stop this. I need to, get up and get this thing done. Let me just get it sorted once and for all. But we find it difficult to do that simply because at times we feel we're just not in the mood. So when you keep delaying these things, when you keep delaying this work, when you keep delaying this task, it reaches a point whereby it becomes so late, the deadline is approaching, and then you begin to panic. You begin to panic and you begin to tell yourself, oh my God, I wish I had started earlier. So that's why I said virtually all of us, we procrastinate. But then it's not everyone that procrastinates that is a procrastinator. What do I mean here? Yes, by human nature, we do that once in a while, but when it becomes habitual, when it becomes your way of life, when your work is delayed, it stopped, you can't meet deadlines, or you meet deadline with substandard work because you keep putting it off, then you have become a procrastinator. So when we talk about this issue of procrastination, it takes a circle. What do I mean? From delaying that work till a later time or a later date, to now avoiding it until when it becomes avoidable. When it becomes unavoidable, that is maybe you have that deadline and you have no option that to get that work done. So you tend to do that work, but then the outcome could have been better than what you have come up with. It means you have the capacity, you have the ability to do something that is much better. The quality can be much better than what you've offered, but because simply you've been postponing that important work till a later date, what you get to come up with, it's something that is very, very substandard. So when we talk about this procrastination of a thing, it happens for so many reasons. one of this reason is we tend to be optimistic with time. We tend to feel, oh, I have all the time in the world to get it done. Oh, the deadline is in 2 weeks. I have 2 more weeks to get it. I will do it. And at times we feel, oh, I'm up to the task. I know it all. So it's just about putting this, and this together, and I will get sorted out. By the time you know a week is gone, you're now counting, oh, I have a week. Oh, I know it. It's just about putting this, and this. I have it in my system. Maybe, oh, I just need to pull this and pull that, and I just fix everything. Oh, I have 3 more days. You feel you still have that time. So by the time it's a day to submission, this panic mode has been activated. So you begin to panic. And then what you put up is something below standard. It's something that at times is not acceptable to you yourself, not the person that assigned that task or that responsibility to you. And at times we tend to procrastinate because of instant gratification that we tend to have as human beings. What do I mean by that? We tend to delay important tasks and go about doing things that are not really important, or at times are not even important at all, because of the instant gratification that comes with doing those tasks or those stuff you're doing that are not really important. For example, because of the satisfaction you derive from browsing or using your mobile phone or going through your social media platforms and what have you, you tend to delay that important task that you have from the office, that work that you're being paid for, because of the interest you have in doing that one that gives you instant gratification. Yes, the satisfaction you derive by just seeing people liking your posts and whatever, or the conversation you engage with your followers on this platform. You tend to ignore the long-term gratification that comes with that work that you've been given. And at the same time, one of the reasons why we tend to procrastinate much is the issue of freedom. Yes, in some cases, you're not being monitored, you're not being accountable, you're not being held responsible by anybody because of certain tasks, especially when it comes to our personal development. It is something that we want to do to develop ourselves, and we're not accountable to anybody. We have this freedom of doing when we want to do it at the particular time that we feel like that we're in the mood of doing it. So you find out that in the long run, we don't accomplish anything because we keep postponing it. We keep saying we're going to do it, and we're not accountable to anybody. So that freedom that comes with certain tasks, certain assignment, or certain responsibilities promotes procrastination. At the same time, we tend to procrastinate because this task or this work is unpleasant, is not appealing to us. Yes, it's something we don't like doing. So even if we're being assigned to do that, we keep putting it off. I will do it at a later date. I will do it. But at the end of the day, we end up not doing it because it's unpleasant to us. At the same time, we tend to avoid, or we tend to procrastinate when task is overwhelming. We can do it, but then it's overwhelming. It involves so much. It's going to take a toll on us. So we tend to, keep putting it off till a later time, or till a later date, or we keep giving excuses that I will wait till when this and this is ready, till I sort this, till I sort that. That's when I'll get to do it. So what happens when you are habitual procrastinator? When it becomes a habit, what happens? It doesn't go without any consequence. Yes, it comes with results. Yes, you have to pay for that. Number one, when you're going to get that work done at the late hour, when you have that deadline to meet, you're going to be stressed out. Yes, the stress that comes with you rushing to accomplish a task that you have done earlier on. You tend to compress it and do it all at once. Maybe it's an online work that's going to take you, let's say, 10 hours for you to accomplish. Then instead of you spreading it across days to do it, accomplishing one task after the other, as the job entails, you do everything at once. The stress that comes with that is going to have a toll on you. At the same time, the anxiety and the panic that comes, you're rushing. You have this anxiety of not knowing whether you meet the deadline or not, and then you panic. And by the time you begin to panic, when you set that panic mode, you don't get the best of that work. You don't bring out your best. For me, I don't know for others, but for me, when that panic mode is activated, I don't bring out the best in me. The best in me comes out when I take my time to do any work I am assigned. The best of me comes out when I take my time, to deliver the best. When I go about doing things, rushing, I don't accomplish anything at all. There is underproductivity when you're working under duress, when you have this panic in you that all you're after is to get that work done. So at the same time, when you procrastinate too much, you tend to have this guilt in you. This guilt comes from you knowing I can do better, but this is what I was able to offer, because you've been putting it off. That guilt of, oh my God, had it been I started earlier, I would have added this, and that. I would have covered this, and that. But because I was in a rush, because all I was after was meeting the deadline, all I was after was this, and that, you end up not giving out your best. So that guilt, that knowing that I will have done better, that guilt of knowing, oh, they're going to see me as someone that is not competent, as someone that is not capable of handling this task. Meanwhile, I know that I have the capacity, I have what it takes. It's just that I kept putting it off. So that guilt will be there. At the same time, you're going to get disapproval. If you're working for somebody, you're going to get disapproval from your lack of commitment and the poor quality of the work you're going to deliver, the result you're going to give. Definitely you're going to get disapproval, because definitely there are certain standards that you need to follow. But if you're the type that you work under pressure, you can get it done, but it's not advisable. Yes, some people work under pressure, they have that ability. It's when the best in them comes out, when they have little time to get this done. But for many people like myself, I don't have that capacity. My best is not achieved when I work under duress, when I have this panic in knowing that I have this deadline approaching, that I need to submit this work, or I need to sort certain things out. So it's better I take my time, one step at a time, I accomplish. That way I get to deliver my best. So having spoken about the whys and the effects of this issue of procrastination, how then are you as a person wanting to tackle it or to address it? How do you go about it? There are various ways which, when you adopt, you can tackle it, you can address it, and with commitment and persistence, yes, it can become a thing of the past. The first one is, you have to understand there is no one fits it all approach. Why? Because as human beings, we are dynamic, and as human beings, what works for one person may not work for another person. So we have to have that at the back of our minds. We have to understand our personality. We have to understand what works best for us. Then we go for it. So the first one is the visualization method. What do I mean by this? It can take either the positive visualization or the negative visualization. What do I mean by this? For me as a person, I tend to visualize all the positive aspect of what's going to come from completing that task or that assignment. The positive that is going to come out. Oh, for example, I have this assignment that I've been putting off for long, and I talk to myself, Hauwa, get this thing done. Once you're done with it, you have all the free time in the world. Okay, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do that, and you keep putting it off because you've not finished this work that you have. So I look at the bright side of finishing that work, and I rush to finish that assignment at hand. I look at maybe the compliments or the gratitude that is going to come from the person that assigned that responsibility to me. That feeling of getting commended for my own work gives me the zeal to go all out and complete that task on time. And also, some of us are motivated by looking at the negative consequences of not accomplishing a task. When you see it's going to slow you down, it's going to cost you so many things, it makes you get serious with the work. When you have a boss that is not so friendly, when you have a boss that is not, the accommodating type, you feel threatened. When you visualize that in your own head, when you have yourself thinking that, oh my God, this person is going to embarrass me, or it's going to even cost me my job if I'm not serious on this. That negative thinking of you visualizing what's going to go wrong when you don't accomplish this task, it gets you in the right frame of mind, whether you like it or not, to get that work done. So that way you stop procrastinating. At the same time, one other way that I personally use to stop procrastinating is breaking down complicated tasks. When I know I have a job at hand that I need to get done, and it overwhelms me when I look at it, I know it's going to take me time. I try as much as possible to sit down and break it down. What's the first step? I tackle it maybe on the first day. Maybe I give myself like 2 days break. Then I accomplish the second one. I don't allow it to get to the final day or the second to the last day of, the deadline. Break it down into bits and pieces. You accomplish one task at a go. You accomplish step by step. You accomplish something. If it's on a daily basis, if it's maybe every 2 days, every 3 days, make sure you accomplish something. Break down the task into small bits so that you don't rush yourself. At the same time, another way to go about it is changing your environment. At times, the environment we find ourselves is not too comfortable for us to accomplish results. It's not comfortable for us to accomplish the work or the task we have at hand. For example, now that we have this lockdown and now that we're working from home, your bedroom may not be so comfortable. The environment in your bedroom may not be so comfortable for productivity. If you have to move from your bedroom to the sitting room or to the dining area for you to get things done, for me, I move to the dining area. At least I sit on the table. I get myself, comfortable. That way, I work very well. So if that's what works for you, then change the environment. And if it's not, if you work best outdoor, find out what's the best environment for you to work in. Some work best when they're listening to music. If that's what gets you in the mood to work, then go for it. And some don't like, some are at ease when they are not around anybody, when they are alone. For me, that is my best period to work. I love my space, and when I'm alone, the best in me comes out because I get to think, there's no distraction from anything, there's no distraction from anyone. I have the space all alone to myself, so I work best when I'm in that environment. So find out the type of environment that brings out the best in you, and then you go for it. You look for that environment. And if it's being around people that motivate you, then do that. But it's very important you understand the type of environment that enhances your productivity as a person, and then you go for it. At the same time, another method that is good is being socially accountable. What do I mean? Earlier on, I spoke about one of the causes of having that freedom of doing what you want to do at any time you want to do. So when you are socially accountable to someone, for example, you having a body that you work together, you having a pal or someone that, you all have different goals. You don't necessarily have to have same goals. You have different goals that you want to accomplish, and then you hold each other accountable. Maybe after 2 days, you check up on one another. Hey, have you accomplished that? Have you accomplished that milestone? I was able to do this, I was able to do that. You having that someone, it could be your mentor, it could be a friend, it could be anyone. But someone that will hold you accountable for not accomplishing a task that you set out for yourself goes a long way in tackling procrastination. It helps. It has really worked for me. I have my mentors that, hold me accountable, especially when I'm dragging on milestones, calling me, Hauwa, how far? Have you done it? And at times, knowing that I don't want to disappoint them, and at times, I even do it with my mentees. I feel threatened, I feel, I'm the mentor, so I shouldn't do that. I should lead by example. So I discuss certain things with my mentees, and I get them, please, can you call me on so day to make sure that I don't forget on this? It's indirectly holding myself accountable, because I know that I'll feel bad. I'll feel that, oh my God, what type of mentor I am. I'm not leading by example. So when I do that, it gets me to handle task timely. It gets me to stop procrastinating. So you can do that. It helps a lot. At the same time, you can also have a to-do list, but not just having a to-do list, but having a to-do list that you will follow on it strictly with discipline. Yes, we can all have a to-do list either on our phones, on our jotters, on our notebooks, and what have you. Writing is completely different from implementing. So you have to act on that to-do list. You have a task at hand, you sit down, you analyze it, you find out how long it's going to take you to get that work done, to get that stuff done. When you do that, you follow diligently, you follow with discipline, you follow with consistency. You make sure that everything you put down on that to-do list is accomplished. When you do that, you find out that you will not postpone work that needs to be done till a later date. You find out that you get results. At the same time, the last and not the least point that I will give you in terms of tackling this issue is just start. Yes, at times it has worked for me. Yes, I just dive in. I just started. I realized that the mood I am in, once, for example, if I have a project and it's maybe I have to use my laptop, I keep postponing it. I will do it. But once I sit, once I open my laptop, once I immerse myself in it, I realize that I give it my all. And before I get tired, I've accomplished a lot. And once I've started, I realize that the energy to complete it sets in. So whatever resources that I need to get, sitting down, I reach out. If it's an email I need to send out, if it's somebody I need to call, seated there with my laptop in front of me, I call that person that I need to get that data, or that person that I need to get that piece of information, or that person that I need to get his insight, or that person that I need to get his input, or that person that I need his assistance for me to accomplish that goal. And if it's somebody that I have to report to, or it's somebody that needs to report to me, sitting down, I get to do that and I get results. So at times, we don't get things done because we've refused to start. Once we start, we get challenged to complete the task. So I hope we will be able to, look or adhere to some of these few tips that I've been able to discuss, and we will be able to work on this negative vice, because it's something that is very, very horrible. It affects our productivity, and when our productivity is affected, we don't get, results. When our productivity is affected, we don't get greater results. We don't accomplish anything. So we have to try as much as possible and see that this procrastination of a thing doesn't become a habit. Yes, as I said earlier, virtually all of us procrastinate, which is human. Yes, we're human beings. There are times that we have some challenges, we have some issues at hand that we just simply don't feel in the mood of doing something. But let's not allow it to become a habit, because when it becomes habitual, it's going to affect us negatively. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.